Grocery shelves creaking, prices jumping like a heart monitor, and people rushing for TikTok emergency food kits. Meanwhile, deep in Pennsylvania, Amish pantries sit calm, silent, full. No panic, no chaos, just quiet abundance. I'm Davis, been studying off-grid food systems since 2016, and let me tell you, there's one brutal lesson every prepper learns too late. It's not the flashiest food that saves you. It's the one that stays good, cooks fast, and keeps you sane. Here's the brutal truth most urban preppers miss. Half of the Amish canned goods aren't the fancy freeze-dried stuff influencers push. They're cheap, boring, multi-use, the kind you probably skip right past in the grocery aisle. And that's why they win when everyone else runs out. After the winter storms of January 2025, small rural communities didn't panic. They pulled out canned meats, evaporated milk, and lard-based mixes, the same pantry staples Amish families have relied on for generations. Retail scanners showed those items vanished first. Not rice, not beans, not MREs. Today, I'm breaking down the exact 11 canned foods the Amish trust most, with real 2024-2025 prices, USDA shelf life data, and why they beat freeze-dried meals in a real crisis. And number 7, it's an old-school can that replaces protein and baking fat. Costs less than your morning coffee. Look, food inflation's still climbing, and tin packaging costs are rising fast. Manufacturers are already warning of price hikes into 2025. The time to stock smart, not panic, is right now. Because calm pantries survive what panic can't. Item 1. Canned chicken. Look, when the freezer's out, the power's gone, and grocery shelves look like a bad dream, one thing still keeps you steady. Canned chicken. Yeah, I know, it's not glamorous. It's not the fancy tactical stuff influencers push. But here's the truth. This little can quietly saves more meals than NEMRE ever will. We're talking about pre-cooked, shelf-stable white meat. Pop the lid, drain it, drop it in a pot, boom. Instant protein. Neutral flavor means it fits anywhere. Stews, casseroles, sandwiches. When fresh meat's a memory, this can is your backup plan. Now, here's where it gets interesting. As of 2024, Walmart's Great Value canned chicken runs about $4.97 for a 12.5-ounce can. Multi-packs, even cheaper per can. That's less than a drive-through meal, and it lasts 2 to 5 years if you store it right. That's not guesswork. That's straight from USDA shelf life data. And availability? Still steady. You'll find it at Walmart, Sam's Club, Costco. But here's the catch. Once storms hit or inflation spikes, these shelves empty fast. During the January 2025 winter storms, small towns leaned hard on canned meats like this. Retail scanners showed they moved faster than bottled water. That's not hype. That's supply chain data. Now, you might be thinking, but it's too salty. Sure, sodium's higher than fresh, but here's the trick. Rinse it or mix it into stews and rice. I've done it countless times in drills. It balances out perfectly. And here's a pro tip. 1 can of chicken, 1 can of diced tomatoes, and a cup of rice, dinner for 2 in under 10 minutes. Cheap, filling, morale boosting. Don't overthink it. Don't hoard one brand. Diversify your proteins, but make sure this one's in the stack. Because when real hunger hits, boring cans become gold. Now, wait till you see what's next. It's even cheaper and twice as smart. Item 2. Canned tuna. Here's the thing. If canned chicken is your workhorse, tuna is your sniper. Small, precise, powerful. It's the quiet king of protein per dollar, and most people overlook just how efficient this can really is. We're talking high-protein, low-fat, shelf-stable fish, the kind of food that keeps your energy steady when stress and shortages hit. One can gives you serious protein without draining your budget or your space. Right now, Star-Kissed Chunk Light runs around $1.14 for a 5-ounce can. And if you buy multi-packs, you drop that cost even lower. Think about that. For less than the price of a soda, you're getting one of the best protein ratios in the entire grocery aisle. And the shelf life? Just like canned chicken, 2 to 5 years, easy, when stored in a cool, dry spot. That's USDA guidance, not guesswork. It's one of those set-it-and-forget-it foods that quietly keeps your pantry alive when others run out. Now, availability, still strong. Tuna's a restock staple for Walmart, Sam's, and dollar stores. Even when supply chains jam, it's one of the first proteins back on shelves. That reliability, priceless in a crunch. Here's where it gets practical. I always tell people buy in 4 to 8 packs. Rotate them like clockwork. When you use one, replace one. Simple system, no waste. And if you want a full meal, drain a can, mix it with rice and a can of mixed veggies, add salt, maybe a drop of oil if you've got it. You just made a survival meal with fiber, protein, and real calories. No stove drama, no prep fatigue. Because when your budget's tight, but your goals are serious, tuna is not just food, it's strategy in a can. Now, wait till you see the next item. It's old school, rich, and built to outlast almost anything. Item 3, Spam, or canned luncheon meat. Now, this next one, it's the ultimate morale booster in a can. Spam, or if you're old school, Libby's corned beef. Yeah, laugh if you want, but when real hunger sets in, this stuff feels like comfort food gold. We're talking shelf-stable, high-calorie, high-fat meat that doesn't need refrigeration and still tastes like an actual meal. In a crisis, that mix of salt, fat, and flavor does more than fill your stomach. It resets your mood. Because survival isn't just calories, it's morale. Right now, a 12-ounce can of Spam runs about $3.88 at Walmart. Libby's corned beef, around $3 to $5, depending on where you shop and how many you grab at once. Bulk packs drop that price even lower. Think about it. For less than the cost of a latte, you're buying dense calories that'll last years. And yes, it's everywhere. Grocery stores, dollar stores, big box chains. It's a global survival classic for a reason. During lockdowns and storms, these cans moved faster than bottled water, and they'll do it again. Here's the beauty of it. Fry it for breakfast, dice it into stews, mix it with rice, or use the rendered fat as a cooking substitute. That's multi-use power, food and fuel in one can. But here's a small trick from experience. Always keep a manual can opener and a pair of disposable gloves nearby. These cans are greasy. Gloves make cleanup painless. And don't just eat it cold. A quick pan fry transforms it from emergency ration to comfort meal. When the grid's down and your supplies look thin, a single can of Spam can lift your energy and your spirits. And trust me, the next item does something similar, but it's sweet, smooth, and lasts for years. Item 4, canned salmon and sardines. Now this next one is pure survival gold, the kind of food the Amish, homesteaders, and serious preppers quietly stock by the case. Canned salmon and sardines. Look, most people walk right past this shelf. They'll grab tuna or chicken and skip these oily fish because they smell funny. But here's the truth. Those tiny cans pack more survival power per ounce than almost anything in your pantry. We're talking protein, healthy fats, and calories that actually stick, the kind your body can run on when meals are down to 1 a day. And the shelf life? 2 to 5 years easy, according to USDA food safety data. That means if you buy it in 2025, you're still eating strong in 2030. Now, why it's unique? Those omega-3 fatty acids, they're not just good for your heart, they're critical when your diet shifts under stress. They help with inflammation, focus, and mental stability. Try going 2 weeks on beans and rice and then eat a can of sardines. The difference is night and day. And don't overlook the calories hiding in the oil. When food shortages hit or fuel gets rationed, every drop of oil becomes fuel for your body. That's why oily fish like sardines and salmon aren't just protein, they're compact energy storage. Right now, canned salmon prices range between $3 to $6 per can, depending on brand and source. Sardines, still one of the best deals out there, usually under $1.50 a can, sometimes less if you buy multi-packs. That's elite nutrition for pocket change. Here's how you use it. Mash sardines on crackers for instant protein. Mix salmon with a little flour and egg to make patties, or toss either into rice for a complete meal in minutes. Pro tip, keep a few cans in your bug-out bag. They're lightweight, don't need a can opener, and you can eat them straight from the tin. It's one of those overlooked staples that quietly wins in every category: shelf life, nutrition, and price. And wait till you see the next one. It's sweet, dense, and powers Amish pantries through the harshest winters. Item 5. Canned beans. Baked, kidney, chickpeas. Now here's where survival meets simplicity. Canned beans. Baked, kidney, chickpeas. They might look boring on the shelf, but these humble cans quietly carry the backbone of long-term food security. Why? Because they deliver fiber, protein, and slow-burning calories for pennies. In a world where meat prices climb every month, beans are the last line of defense against an empty stomach. Right now, you can grab Bush's or Goya canned beans for about $1 to $2.50 a can, depending on the type and size. And if you're smart, buying in bulk at club stores, that price drops even lower. That's less than a latte for a full serving of protein and calories that'll actually sustain you. And here's the key. Beans aren't just filler food. They're complete meal builders. Mix a can of beans with canned tomatoes and rice, and you've got a meal base that's shelf-stable, filling, and nutritionally balanced. That combo alone has powered communities through hurricanes, blackouts, and inflation spikes, and it's still working today. Most people underestimate what these little cans can do. Chickpeas? They mash into spreads, thicken soups, or turn into hearty stews. Baked beans? Instant morale food, slightly sweet, loaded with calories, and perfect for cold nights. Kidney beans? High in protein and iron, a solid substitute when meat runs short. And the shelf life? 2 years or more when stored cool and dry, backed by USDA canning data. Some preppers report them lasting 3 to 4 years with minimal quality loss. Just make sure to rotate stock, first in, first out. Now here's a pro tip the Amish swear by. Store beans alongside canned tomatoes and rice in balanced rotation. Together, they create a 3-can meal that can stretch one family dinner into 3 nights with minimal effort. Another trick, rinse before eating if sodium's a concern, or heat straight from the can for a fast morale meal during outages. Look, you can live off rice alone for a while, but without beans, your body starts craving protein and fiber, and that's when fatigue hits hard. The smartest preppers? They don't just hoard calories, they stock nutrients that keep energy steady. And the next item takes that idea even further. It's rich, creamy, and something the Amish rely on when milk spoils and power lines go dark. Item 6. Canned tomatoes. Diced, crushed, pureed. Now let's talk about the real flavor engine of every Amish pantry, canned tomatoes. Diced, crushed, pureed, doesn't matter. These cans turn bland survival food into something you actually want to eat when the world outside feels cold and empty. Here's the thing most preppers forget. Survival isn't just about calories, it's about morale. And nothing lifts morale like real flavor. That's where canned tomatoes come in. They transform rice, beans, pasta, or canned meats into warm, familiar meals that feel human again when the world outside feels cold and empty. According to the Food Safety and Inspection Service, acidic canned foods like tomatoes keep their best quality for about 12 to 18 months, shorter than low-acid items like meats or beans, sure, but absolutely worth the rotation. They don't just feed your body, they trick your mind into feeling normal during chaos. Right now, you can find Hunt's diced tomatoes for about $1 to $2 per can, and even cheaper in multi-packs at Walmart or Sam's Club. That's pennies for a flavor base that stretches your other food supplies. When your rice, beans, or pasta start tasting repetitive, one can of tomatoes resets the entire meal. The Amish have understood this for generations. They preserve tomatoes not just for sauces, but as hydration and acidity sources for balanced cooking. In emergencies, that tangy tomato base can hydrate grains, add electrolytes, and help your body digest heavy canned proteins like chicken or Spam. Here's a simple survival hack. Mix a can of tomatoes with rice, a spoon of oil, and a protein source, chicken, tuna, or beans, and you've got a hot, full meal with all the essentials: carbs, protein, salt, and flavor. Pro tip: stock both seasoned and no-salt varieties. The seasoned cans save you time and spice, while the plain versions give you control over sodium and versatility. And remember, even if the best buy date passes, tomatoes stored in a cool, dry space remain safe far longer than most people think. Check the can. If it's clean and sealed, you're good. Bottom line, these red cans are more than ingredients. They're morale in metal form. And the next item takes that idea even further. It's rich, creamy, and something the Amish rely on when milk spoils and power lines go dark. Item 7. Evaporated and sweetened condensed milk. When most people think of emergency food, they picture beans, rice, or canned meat, but not milk. But the Amish know something the average prepper often forgets. Milk can survive without a fridge. That's where evaporated and sweetened condensed milk come in, the forgotten power cans of the pantry. These are canned dairy concentrates, milk that's been reduced, stabilized, and sealed to last for years. And for the Amish, they're as essential as flour or sugar. Why? Because these cans do double duty. Evaporated milk adds creaminess to soups, sauces, and even mashed potatoes, while sweetened condensed milk becomes the comfort base for pies, puddings, and baked treats. When fresh milk disappears during a crisis, these become liquid gold. According to USDA and Food Safety and Inspection Service guidance, shelf-stable milk products are among the safest, longest-lasting canned goods when stored in a cool, dry space. Sealed cans easily last 1 to 2 years, and often longer, without quality loss. And here's the real-world data. As of 2025, Carnation and Angel brands hover under $2 per 12-ounce can at most major retailers like Walmart or Kroger. That's an incredible value, especially when you consider the calories and fat they deliver per ounce. These aren't just food, they're survival energy. The Amish have used them for generations, not because they're preppers, but because they live by principles of self-reliance and preservation. In harsh winters, when cows aren't producing, canned milk keeps families baking, cooking, and living normally. It's comfort food in its purest form, a psychological and nutritional buffer against scarcity. In survival terms, evaporated milk can replace fresh milk in most recipes. Just mix it with equal parts water. Sweetened condensed milk, on the other hand, can sweeten and thicken coffee, oatmeal, or even be used as an emergency energy source straight from the can. Pro tip: always rotate your dairy cans yearly and keep both types in your stockpile, one for everyday cooking, one for high-calorie comfort and morale. Most prepper lists skip canned milk entirely, but the Amish never do. Because when the lights go out and the world feels cold and flavorless, nothing restores warmth quite like a spoonful of creamy, sweet survival. Next up, a pantry staple that fuels both your body and your fire: pure cooking oil. Item 8. Canned corn and canned potatoes. When people think canned food, they usually picture beans or soup, but canned corn and canned potatoes are the quiet workhorses of every long-term pantry. They don't just feed you, they fill you. Let's start with corn. It's one of the most calorie-dense vegetables you can buy, packed with carbs, a touch of natural sugar, and the kind of comfort that reminds you of home. A can of corn can turn bland rice or beans into a meal that actually feels complete. It's also shelf-stable, quick to heat, and easy to eat straight from the can if you're in a no-power situation. Then there's the unsung hero, canned potatoes. The Amish and rural families love them for one big reason: they save time and fuel. Unlike dehydrated potatoes, which need long soaking or boiling, canned potatoes are already cooked. Just heat, season, and serve. In an emergency, where every ounce of fuel matters, that difference is huge. Most mainstream brands, Green Giant, Del Monte, Great Value, still sit under $2 per can, with bulk or club packs dropping the cost even further. In a world where inflation hits fresh produce first, these remain some of the most affordable, reliable sources of starch you can stock. Shelf life averages 2 to 5 years when stored properly, cool, dark, and dry. And unlike fresh vegetables that rot within weeks, these cans stay ready long after the lights go out. Here's where most people underestimate them. These aren't just side dishes. Mix canned corn with rice and beans and tomato base for a full stew. Mash canned potatoes with evaporated milk for an instant comfort meal. In a survival context, they're calorie multipliers, cheap energy with minimal effort. The Amish learned generations ago that reliable calories are the foundation of self-reliance. Corn and potatoes weren't just crops, they were winter insurance. Canning preserved their bounty, and today those same principles apply whether you're off-grid or just prepping for supply shocks. Pro tip: stock both, corn for sweetness and morale, potatoes for dense energy. Rotate yearly and store in a cool space to prevent can swelling or discoloration. Because when grocery shelves empty, it won't be the fancy foods people miss first. It'll be the simple, filling staples that kept families alive for centuries. Item 9. Canned clams and seafood. Most people overlook canned clams when building their emergency pantry, but that's exactly why seasoned preppers and traditional communities like the Amish quietly keep them stocked. Because in tough times, flavor and protein density aren't luxuries, they're morale and strength. Canned clams, clam juice, or mixed seafood are compact, shelf-stable sources of high-quality protein and minerals. They come pre-cooked, ready to mix into soups, rice dishes, or even pasta. Each can contains a surprising amount of nutrients: protein, iron, zinc, and omega-3s, the kind of nutrition that helps maintain energy and recovery in long emergencies. Unlike tuna or salmon, clams add both flavor depth and cooking versatility. Just a few spoonfuls of clam juice can transform a bland potato stew into a hearty chowder-style meal. In survival situations where seasoning options are limited, that flavor boost becomes a real asset. It's no coincidence that New England fishing communities and Amish settlers both relied on preserved seafood for centuries. When fresh catch wasn't available, clams and oysters were canned for winter use, not just for protein, but for taste that broke the monotony of basic rations. Canned clams from brands like Snow's or Bumblebee typically range from $2.50 to $4 per 6.5-ounce can, depending on region and retailer. Clam juice usually sells for under $3 per bottle, making it one of the cheapest flavor extenders you can buy. Like other low-acid seafood cans, the USDA notes a safe quality window of 2 to 5 years, provided they're kept in cool, dry storage. Proper rotation, first in, first out, ensures freshness without waste. Add to canned potatoes and evaporated milk for instant chowder. Mix with rice and vegetables for seafood risotto-style meals. Combine with canned tomatoes and beans for a high-protein stew. Pro tip: keep clam juice and whole clams both. One for broth, one for bulk. Together, they stretch calories and flavor further than almost any other canned protein. When your pantry's running low and every calorie counts, a small can of clams isn't just food, it's a reminder of coastal wisdom and centuries-old survival tradition. Item 10. Canned soups and stews. Let's be real. When things go sideways, you won't always have the time, water, or fuel to cook. That's where canned soups and stews earn their spot as one of the smartest, most underrated prepper staples on the shelf. We're talking about fully cooked, ready-to-eat meals in a can. Things like Campbell's Chunky or Dinty Moore beef stew or classic canned chili. Just heat and eat. Or, if you're desperate, open and spoon straight from the can. No prep, no dishes, no hassle. Most people stock canned veggies or meats separately, but soups bring something powerful to the table: balance. A single can already combines protein, carbs, salt, and fat. That's energy, hydration, and flavor all in one. In an emergency where every ounce of propane or firewood counts, that's priceless. And here's the hidden truth: soups are morale food. After days of rice and beans and ration bars, a warm bowl of chili feels like comfort. It's psychological fuel as much as physical. That's why even military rations mimic these kinds of hearty, one-pot meals, because they keep spirits up when everything else feels uncertain. Depending on brand and size, expect anywhere from $1.50 to $4 per can, with family size or bulk packs giving better value per ounce. Chili and beef stew tend to run higher, but they also deliver higher calorie density. Most canned soups last 2 to 5 years per USDA guidelines for low-acid foods, especially when stored below 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Even past the best buy date, many retain flavor and nutrition for years if the cans remain sealed and rust-free. Don't just rely on condensed soups like the classic Campbell's Red Label. They're high in sodium and often light on protein. Upgrade them. Mix in canned chicken, beans, or rice to stretch them into full, high-calorie meals. When the lights go out or supply chains freeze again, that little can of stew isn't just food, it's convenience, warmth, and a few precious minutes of peace in the middle of chaos. Because in survival mode, simplicity wins. Every single time. Item 11. Sardines and mackerel in oil. Now let's talk about one of the most underrated survival foods you can buy, and most people walk right past it on the shelf. Sardines and mackerel in oil. Yeah, I know, not everyone's first choice, until they realize what they're actually holding. These little tins are pure survival gold. You're looking at a food that's cheap, calorie-dense, packed with protein, and, here's the kicker, already soaked in oil. That oil isn't just for taste, it's stored energy, and in a crisis, fat equals fuel. Let's get specific. In 2024-2025, most sardine or mackerel cans run under $2 at major retailers, sometimes under $1 if you buy store brands. That's roughly 20 to 25 grams of protein plus healthy omega-3 fats for the price of a candy bar. According to Real Simple and other nutrition trackers, these cans are some of the best cost per calorie foods you can buy. Period. Shelf life? 2 to 5 years, easy. As long as it's stored cool and dry, those little tins will wait quietly, ready when everything else spoils. Now, here's the thing. While most people hoard tuna or chicken, sardines bring something those cans don't: built-in flavor and morale. When everything tastes bland, that salty, smoky hit from a can of sardines feels like a feast. You can eat them straight from the tin, mash them into rice or pasta, or layer them on crackers. And if you've ever seen how the Amish or old-school homesteaders stock their pantries, you'll notice they don't skip these oily fish. Why? Because they know the value of calories that don't need cooking. Want a simple prepper trick? Keep a sleeve of crackers or flatbread sealed next to your sardines. That combo right there gives you a full meal without touching your stove. And if you're building a morale box, sardines belong right beside coffee, chocolate, and peanut butter. Small item, huge impact. So don't underestimate this hidden gem. When the power's out, supplies are low, and fresh food's a memory, that tiny can of sardines becomes more than just food. It's fuel, comfort, and survival in one bite. Tiny fish, massive value. And the smartest preppers already have a case. Now that we've covered the essentials, let's talk about what separates casual stockpilers from people who actually thrive in long-term emergencies: advanced strategies. First up, rotation. Most people throw their cans on a shelf and forget about them. Big mistake. A real prepper's pantry runs like a machine. Every can is labeled, dated, and rotated. Use the FIFO rule: first in, first out. It's what homesteaders swear by, and it's the reason their 2019 cans still taste fresh in 2025. Here's a pro move. Practice cook one canned item every week. Not only does it keep your inventory moving, but you actually learn what you like, what tastes great, what needs spice, and what's better traded out next time. The homesteading family community teaches this exact system, and it's genius. Next, mix and match meals. You don't need 10 ingredients and an hour of fuel. Combine canned beans, canned tomatoes, and canned chicken or beef. Boom! You've got a one-pot dinner with protein, carbs, and flavor that'll feed a family on a single burner. The more combinations you experiment with now, the smoother things go when the grid goes down. But let's hit the biggest pitfall most people fall into: buying only freeze-dried food. It sounds cool, it stores for decades, but here's the brutal truth. It's expensive, often bland, and rough to eat daily. Freeze-dried food has its place, but if you rely on it exclusively, you'll burn through money and morale fast. Better approach? Blend both worlds. Use canned proteins for cost and convenience, and save freeze-dried for long-term storage or lightweight travel. That balance gives you variety, comfort, and massive savings per calorie. Because prepping isn't about fear, it's about systems. Rotation, practice, and smart variety turn your pantry from a collection of cans into a survival asset. And when the next storm hits or shelves run bare again, you'll be ready, calm, confident, and fed. Let's do a quick flash run. Chicken, protein; tuna, cost-efficient power; Spam, fat and morale; salmon, omega-rich calories; beans, fiber and fullness; tomatoes, flavor and fuel extender; evaporated milk for baking and comfort; corn and potatoes for calorie bulkers; clams for flavor bomb and chowder base; soups and stews for ready-to-eat backup; and sardines, small can, big punch. That's your pantry backbone: protein, fat, and flavor that keeps you steady when supply chains shake. Here's your top 3 takeaways to lock in. Number 1, balance. Don't just chase calories. You need protein, fat, and variety if you plan to stay sharp and sane during shortages. Number 2, rotation. Label every can. Practice the FIFO system: first in, first out. Use what you store and store what you use. That's how your food stays fresh and your money doesn't rot on a shelf. Number 3, diversify. Mix tuna, beans, tomatoes, and one comfort wild card like evaporated milk or sardines. That's how you stay adaptable when shelves empty. Now, here's the hard truth. Manufacturers are already warning about tin shortages, tariff hikes, and packaging costs heading into 2025. According to Reuters, those small jumps in material costs hit canned goods first. So, buying a modest, diversified stock today might save you double the cost 6 months from now. So, here's your challenge. Which of these 11 do you already have? Drop the number in the comments, 1 through 11, and I'll reply with a recipe or emergency meal idea you can test this week. Finally, save this video and share it with a friend who's building their first pantry. Because prepping isn't panic, it's preparation with purpose. Stay smart, stay stocked, and stay ready.